Hi guys, are you ready to have fun? You're in the kitchen with KK. We're going to be baking again and we're going to be celebrating. This is National Hazelnut Cake Day, actually the beginning of June. Also the beginning of June, Olive Day. So we're going to make a cake that is famous for the Piedmonte area of Italy. I think that's how they pronounce it in Italian, but it's in the northwestern area on the base of the Alps, and it is hazelnuts. So back then they wanted to utilize the hazelnuts, and when flour was really expensive, they ground them up. So they were kind of ahead of the game today when we're using alternative flours because today's hybrid wheat is too tough on the gut. We're not able to break it down. It's wreaking havoc with our digestive systems and many other problems that the gluten is introducing for both brain, cognitive health, and liver health. So, wow, this is just fantastic. But a lot of people do love hazelnuts. So we are going to explore that. So I'm Kimberly Knox. You're in the kitchen with KK. I'm a passionate integrative and functional health coach where we get to the root cause of disease. And we're finding that diet and lifestyle is the major cause. So we want to get in the kitchen with this is where we're going to empower our health. And we're going to just get bold and creative with recipes. This is the first time I'm making this recipe. I've looked at many different ones and I'm going to change up a lot of things. Hopefully it comes out great. We're actually going to be putting it in not just one 8-inch springform pan, but little ones, because a lot of people, there's just two people in the house or just one. This allows you to freeze single serving desserts, which I do a lot. And we're actually going to make a ganache for the top of it. This is going to be superb. So we've already got 2 flax eggs getting thick. That's just 2 heaping tablespoons of ground organic flaxseed with a total of 6 tablespoons or 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of filtered water. It's going to get thick. It's sitting. So the other thing I've done in advance is I have roasted some hazelnuts, 350 degrees, 10 minutes. Don't want to have the temperature too high. We need the oven at 350 for the cake anyway. So that way you don't burn the nuts. And here's a great tip. You can just put on a cleaning glove because the nuts could be a little too warm. But when they come out, you want to just go like this and the skins are just going to pop right off. And that's really going to help you out there. Okay, so I've already done that a little bit. And these are ready to go. The hazelnut skins are already off. And so here we go. This is hazelnut flour, Bob's Red Mill. Now, if you don't have access to that, you can combine the hazelnuts. We've got 3/4 cups here with some almond flour, and you'll still get that mix. Or like a cup of these and 3/4 cups of the almond flour. I'm making a little bit lighter, less recipe here. We're going to break them down. You can break them down in a food processor. I'm going to do them in a blender. And I'm going to put the nuts in first just to get a head start. So we're going to leave those skins on the pan here. Just filter them out and just grab the nuts. So when you toast the nuts, not too much, you're going to bring out the flavor, just perfect. Just grab all of these off the little sheet pan. So while you're getting everything out for the making the cake, you can get the nuts in the oven to toast. It's just 10 minutes. Make sure you set a timer. All right, so this is all set. And then these are all of the skins, which we saved out. So very effective. And I like using the little glove, really easy. So I'm going to give these a little spin to break these down. I utilize the blender when I'm breaking down my sprouted rolled oats when I want to make them a little bit smaller for muffins or for overnight oats. So in no time, look what we have. That's perfect. And now, all All right, so now we're gonna put all the other dry ingredients in there and just give it a spin and put it in the bowl. So this is gonna be helpful because it'll give a little texture to the cake, right? Wow, that smells really, really amazing. So what did I say here? I kind of adjusted the recipe as I went. So 1 cup of the hazelnut flour. So it's really great that Bob's Red Mill makes this available to us. So this is going to be similar to almond flour in composition with carbohydrates. Your carb load is so low. This makes it very paleo, very friendly when you're reducing those carbs on a ketogenic style of eating, keeping the carbs low, so you're not sending out so much insulin, and you're working to become and stay insulin sensitive. We've got 2 grams of protein, good amount of calcium, good amount of potassium. So you see, that is one of the other great things when going gluten-free. We're relieving some of the carbs. So now we have the other flour in there. We need about a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. And now, if you were to use aluminum-free baking soda, you'd only need a 1/2 teaspoon. But we're going to use baking powder. So we're going to use a teaspoon because you need a little bit more. All right, that's going in. Keeping it so easy. What am I forgetting in the dry ingredients? Anything? No. Okay, so let's just give this a little whirl. Then we're going to put it in a separate bowl. We don't want to make hazelnut cream or anything out of this. So. All right, fantastic. And we'll just use a fork in the bowl to break this down and set these over here out of the way. I'm going to toss this around. If you use a food processor to do this, it might take you a little bit longer. You might not get the nuts as broken down. But that's okay. You'll get like a little bit of texture. How fun is it to create? And my motto is you just do it, and if you need to adjust after, you can do it then. We're also going to be removing some of the oil, and we're not using butter. We're making it gluten-free and dairy-free. You can use applesauce in replace of some of the oil. So we're going to use a 1/4 cup of applesauce here. Super cool. And we're going to be putting that together with the sugars. This is unsweetened applesauce. This has a little bit of cinnamon. That's perfect for this. That's fine. So if you have the cinnamon one, don't worry about it. Try not to get it all to come out here all at once. Okay, beautiful. Let's get that in. I'm going to add the flax egg. Now, normally, if you had eggs, you would beat that all up with the butter. We're just relieving all of the potentially allergen-causing ingredients and making something that's delicious, where we're going to get a reward sensation. The ganache we're going to put on top is phenomenal. So yippee, yippee there. Okay, so let's mix a 1/2 cup of milk with olive oil, 1/4 cup of olive oil with a 1/2 cup of milk. Now, this is not regular dairy milk. This is milk. This is one of my favorite go-to almond milks because it is super clean. Simple ingredients. Filtered water, organic almonds, sprouted almonds. And this one has pure vanilla extract, perfect. And a little bit of Himalayan sea salt. You want pure almond milks. No gums, no fillers. They don't sound like they're going to cause problems, but they start to cause problems with the mucosal lining of your gut. We don't need one more thing causing gut disruption. All right, so I have a 1/4 cup of olive oil is going to be added here. So that brings the total here to 3/4 of a cup. Let that sit. We'll give it a little stir before we add it. We're going to add it in variations with the dry ingredients that we have here. Give this a stir. Perfect. Put that to the side. We do want some vanilla in here. Let's get a whole teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to use date sugar. It's nice and fine. We got enough granular things in this. This is date sugar. I actually have it saved in a special little container here. How much do I want? A half a cup. This is very fine date sugar. I love date sugar. It's going to be low glycemic, healthier version, just similar to your raw coconut sugar. So if you have raw coconut sugar, you can go ahead and use that. This is lighter in coloring. Put the cover back on. All right. So now we're stirring up the wet ingredients here so far. Let's just give this a little stir. Then we're going to add the flax eggs to this. So far, this is the vanilla, the applesauce, and the date sugar. Let's get the flax egg added in. So the texture of this might be different, but what we're going for is we're creating a recipe where we're going to stimulate that same reward and beautiful options here to celebrate the hazelnuts and the hazelnut cake. We're just going to make it different. All right, so I'm whipping this nice and smooth like we would if we were doing it with the butter and the eggs. I like using a bowl with a spoon. Honestly, you get way more good energy when you do it like this yourself. As long as you're not making like a huge amount, okay? So, all right, so we got the butter. Now what we're gonna be doing, and I think that I have all the dry ingredients in here. I really like that I have a few pieces of a little bit larger nuts. So because I'm using hazelnut flour and raw, real roasted hazelnuts, this is amazing. All right, so the one thing that I don't have is orange zest. I don't have an orange, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a drop of my pure orange essential oil. Right? Genius. Let's do that. In my diffuser in my kitchen and in my soaps and stuff, I love to put orange and clove. Perfect. And so I'm just going to use one drop. Perfect. If I got two, oh well. Okay. So now this smells really, really amazing. If I was using orange zest, 1 full tablespoon of orange zest. And you would do that with a microplane. It's good to have these available and get that in there. And you want, of course, an organic orange, so you're not getting the outside with tons of chemicals in the zest. I know. One more thing to think about. So let's get half of the dry mixture in there. We're splitting this half and half between the malt mixed with the olive oil. Okay, then half of this. We're going to finish with the liquid. I love that we can use applesauce in here. Applesauce is a 1-to-1 replacement for oil. A lot of people eat oil-free or they're reducing their oil. Now, of course, olive oil is a safer oil. However, all oils make the liver call upon the gallbladder to release bile. So if we've got insufficient bile, stagnant, sluggish, that's where we start to get problems. So allowing the liver to build up proper amounts of bile in your gallbladder, and hope to God you still have your gallbladder. Oh my God, that smells amazing. Wow, I really think this is going to come out just fantastic. And I'm pretty excited, especially because the ganache is just going to be 3 ingredients. It's going to be warmed up coconut milk because they don't do any dairy. It's going to be 100% raw cacao chips, so no added junk, fillers, flavorings, and a little bit of maple syrup. Wow, this is looking really freaking good. All right, so the last bit will be this milk with the oil, and we're just going to toss it just enough to get it mixed, and then we're going to pour it into our little springform pans. I'm pretty excited to make little simple. Now these, if you're having a dinner party for 4 people, how perfect. They get their own little cake. That's what's gorgeous, and you can decorate it with the ganache and crushed up pieces of hazelnut. Okay, this is looking great. There's no reason that this shouldn't come out amazing, even though it's the first time we made it here. So we're going to pause. I will be back. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you're loving this, give me a nice thumbs up. We'll see you right back here so we can finish up this hazelnut cake recipe. Okay, we're all tidied up, and I've got a measuring cup because I'm going to scoop it equally into 4 of these 4-inch springform pans. So we're going to make some individual cakes here. They are greased with coconut oil, lined with the unbleached parchment paper. That is the parchment paper that I prefer to use. I encourage you to use the unbleached. We're trying to cut as many chemicals as possible. We are inundated. So let's see how much this is going to make. I was trying to get 2/3 of a cup into each. I think we're going to be able to do that. So I want this cake to be moist on the inside. It doesn't need to raise too much. Crispy toward the outside. Not going to be a typical cake in that regard that you might normally see. You want all the flavor of the hazelnuts. And let's see how this is going to cook with the alterations that we've made. All right, now I'm going to use my little spatula to get the rest here. So let's clean up. It's really good to have these silicone spatulas ready to go to help you out. Really effective in getting everything. Woo! What a mess. Okay. Bold and fearless. I was born the same day as Julia Child, and that's what she always said, be bold and fearless in the kitchen. Why not? You can always edit. Literally, I've been doing this since I was a kid, just creating different things. Okay. Give that a rinse after. This is dribbled on the sides. We'll pick that up. So we're going to get these into the oven, 350 degrees. Because these are smaller, I'm going to check it at 20 minutes. And we're going to put either a toothpick or you can just use a knife in the center to see how we're doing. We do want it moist in the center. It's not going to raise super high, I don't think, like a typical store-bought cake. We're going for flavor. And then, of course, the ganache, which is going to make it amazing. Right, 20 minutes. We'll see you back in 20 minutes. Thanks for tuning in and having fun with me here. The cake, they're almost done. You're gonna wait till they separate a little from the outside of the pan. They're not gonna rise. They're gonna be dense, exactly the way we want them. We're gonna make the ganache. So we've got 3/4 of a cup of, get the heavy cream coconut milk. it actually has less cholesterol. If you look at the, it's kind of strange, right? So don't worry about that. But you want the heavy cream to make the ganache. We're going to separate from doing dairy. This is on. We want to bring this to a boil. We're going to use a little whisk. We've got 3/4 of a cup of 100% raw cacao chips. And then we're going to add our own maple syrup. Now, Pasha brand also has a dark chocolate. They're going to have some sugar in there. But I'm choosing to use the ones that are just straight up dark chocolate and then manage the amount of sugar I add in with, and maple syrup is really, really sweet. I'm from Vermont, so it makes sense that I'm going to want to use some maple syrup. You don't want the coconut milk to stick to the bottom, so you're going to want to stir it up a bit. We're just going to bring it to a boil. Then I'm going to pour it right over the chips to melt them. And in this, ganache is done. How easy is that, right? We want to stay away from dairy. You notice that I do that. I'm not adding cheeses. Low level inflammation in the body, mucus, stagnation of the lymphatic system. So many reasons to eliminate or drastically reduce the amount of dairy you're using. If you are utilizing cheeses that must be organic, made with and from organic milk products, no hormones, no chemicals added, to the no antibiotics added to the cows. So there's just so many things that you can relieve yourself from when you avoid dairy. Trust me, it's felt so good. It also will feed pathogens. So many reasons. We'll be right back when this boils. Okay, this is ready in no time. Just don't let it sit there and boil or burn to the bottom of the pan. Just gonna pour these over the chips. Fabulous. I'm not going to use the wire whisk because I do not want to get the chocolate all blended into the wires. Stir this. So 1-to-1 with the chips and the milk is going to make it a little bit thinner ganache, a little thicker. You can use more chips. In fact, if I think this is a little too thin, I can add some more chips to it. So I am. So let's say about a cup to 3/4. Okay, fabulous. Let's get the, well, that's a little chilly. So let's get these melted off first. This is looking really great. I'm going to store it in jars in the refrigerator after. That's perfect, actually. 3/4 of a cup of the heavy cream. Oh, wow, this is looking really amazing. And it's all chocolate. So once you get 1 tablespoon of the maple syrup in there, you're going to cut the bitterness. But what you're after as an adult, once you get that palate down to sugar, you're just off after the chocolate stimulating dopamine. That's it. Fantastic. Serotonin, dopamine, those are your happy hormones. Right. Look how beautiful this is, right? So that over the cake, flipping amazing. Let's get the cakes out because I just heard the buzzer go. Okay, these are perfect. What you want is you want to see them start to separate from the edge of the pan. You just get a little bit brown and the center being dense and moist. That's the way this cake is going to roll. So we're going to cool this to the side and we'll come back and decorate these babies. You're going to be so amazed. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate them. I'm going to put them in little containers and you can freeze them or just freeze the cake and then put on the ganache later. So fun. Okay, let's get this special treat wrapped up here. You want to run a knife around the springform pan. We're doing 4 small ones here instead of 1 8-inch. I love springform pans. They're super fun. Let's get this out. Yeah. I put a little bit of parchment paper on the bottom to help out here. These are still warm. I probably should let it cool just a little bit more first, but we're not going to. So it's going to be crispy on the outside, crispy on the edges, moist in the center. This is gorgeous and delicious looking, right? Now we've got our ganache. Now, if you're using 100% raw cacao chips, you're going to need to increase the maple syrup a little bit more than me. So definitely get 2 to at least 3 tablespoons in there. So let's drizzle on some here. Just do whatever looks fun and nice. Maybe across the center, let it run down. And then I've crushed up a few hazelnuts here just for a little decoration and texture. Fantastic. Okay, how is this for an individual dessert when you're having a dinner party or something you can take out of the freezer and have for yourself? Enjoy. Even if you're eating for yourself, you should be enjoying all the experience. So I hope you love this low carb, amazing treat. Just cleaning up a recipe right here in real time in the kitchen with KK. Thanks for tuning in. Have a vibrant night. Take care, everyone. So I love when you all tune in. If you do want to find out more about my cookbook, Simple Cooking for Vitality, look at the links below. You can get an ebook only. I'm out of my hardcover copies, but the ebook is special. It's got links to videos and other things. So thanks for tuning in again. Take care, guys.